In the Intermountain West, stakeholders and land managers are creating and transferring innovative biological control technologies in the classroom, on the ground, and online with help from forest health protection entomologists and motivated science teachers.
Hello, I'm Todd Breitenfeld, and we're here in southwest Montana looking at the Tobacco Root Mountains. Now these mountains used to be yellow from the tree line down, and they were yellow from the noxious weed called leafy spurge. And we've been releasing insects in this area for the past 20 years or so, and we've knocked this yellow color pretty well out of the landscape.
Noxious weeds are all about partnerships. By working together, we can really make a difference against noxious weeds. We have a lot of groups out there, CWMAs, Coordinated Weed Management Areas. These folks are the county, they're private individuals, they're private landowners, there's state employees, there's other federal agencies. They're all coming together to work on a common enemy, and that enemy is invasive plants.
Invasive plants are one of the major threats to the ecological integrity, biological diversity, and productive capacity of the nation's forest and rangeland ecosystems. Thousands of acres are newly infested each year by the growth of established invasive plant populations as well as by newly introduced invasive plant species. Partnerships between federal, state, and private agencies are coordinating the development of technologies to adequately address the spread and impacts of invasive plants. Cooperative groups are developing biological control technologies as a central feature in invasive plant management and restorative efforts. Developing and sharing these technologies addresses the Forest Service National Invasive Species Management Strategy to increase the use of biological controls.
We've provided these teachers with a lot of information, and we're not expecting them to go out and recreate the wheel or start new organizations. There's organizations all the way already created. There's Coordinated Weed Management Areas, CWMAs, there's counties, there's the Forest Service, BLM, Nature Conservancy, the Park Service. We all work with noxious weeds and we all work together.
We are going to visit sites where cooperating groups share resources and develop innovative technologies to integrate biological control insects into weed management programs in Montana, Utah, Nevada, Wyoming, and Idaho. Dave Radford explains why partnerships and biological control insects are important aspects of weed management strategies.
When biocontrol was first brought to my attention as a newly elected county commissioner 7.5 years ago, I thought, well, what can bugs do to stop weeds? Because weeds are so damaging to wildlife, to the quality of life for agriculture, for even cattle and grazing, livestock like horses that I raise. Weeds just aren't any good for about anything other than just afflict and be noxious. But my point on the biocontrol is back in the 1990s, when this project in eastern Idaho first had its genesis on biological control and bugs that were target specific for invasive species, it was brought to my attention that these bugs market value have about $1 a piece in some areas of this country. And when the 50,000 bugs that were turned loose in this area started insectaries, we now have over 300 of them, bug sites in eastern Idaho. In the 10-county service area that High Country RC&D serves through the NRCS and the USDA program, we just recently, last year, released over 2.2 million bugs, the flea beetles in one county and 1.7 million in the other county, in a conservative estimate. And that's a $4 million on-the-ground value to the taxpayers of all of the United States. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Instead of having to buy chemicals every year that only last a year, you treat the areas with sensitive areas like close to rivers, close to watersheds. You're able to treat with bugs right up to the waterfront, not worry about any damage to the environment. But the return on the dollar's got to be 100 to 1 when you stop and think about the potential future of treatment for biocontrol here in eastern Idaho. And the nice thing about the private landowners that we've had these insectaries on, there's kind of an ongoing commitment or mutual understanding that these bugs will be used on your property, but we'll be harvesting them for other areas so that other people can benefit by these same flea beetles. So it's a great project. I think it makes a lot of sense scientifically, economically, and I'm just proud to support it.
You are about to see these biological control innovations in action. First, we will travel with Todd Breitenfeld and Mike Badiola to a workshop in Midvale, Utah, and a Bugs with an Attitude project implemented by one of Todd and Mike's trained teachers for Utah Science, Technology, and Research Summer Academy. We will travel with Steve Hobley and Bryce Fowler to eastern Idaho and learn how biological control insects are helping land managers hold the line. You will learn how Biological Control Coordinator Joey Milan and Idaho Student Bug Crew Monitoring helps land managers understand if biological control insects are working or not. We will learn how the Madison Valley Ranchlands Group integrates Idaho's monitoring protocol to expand holding the line objectives in Montana. Learn how Sage Fitch of Salt Lake County helps educators teach to Utah core requirements, integrating biological control activities and lesson plans. Finally, we will show you how to access curriculum and interactive training media resources online at Biocontrol in your backyard. Let's begin in Whitehall with Bugs with an Attitude.
The Jefferson River and the town of Whitehall are in the background, and this is where Mike Badiola and I teach high school. Years ago, we decided to try and get our students involved in a good all-around project that used real science to solve real problems. And one problem that was growing all around us, worse than a forest fire, was noxious weeds.
I'm Phil McCraley, Salt Lake County Weed Supervisor, also President of the Weed Supervisor Association of Utah.
And my name is Sage Fitch. I'm the Salt Lake County Noxious Weed Specialist. And today we're here with our teachers, about 10 teachers from across Utah. And we're also with 2 teachers from Montana, Todd Breitenfeld and Mike Badiola. And this is the Bugs with an Attitude workshop. We're fortunate to be able to offer this with some generous funding from the Utah State Division of Fire, Forestry, and State Lands, along with funding from the Forest Service. And today we're in a leafy spurge site in Midvale, Utah, and we've released some leafy spurge flea beetles, and we're monitoring for past releases of flea beetles. And so we're giving our teachers a good experience with how to release, how to monitor biocontrols, and give them some upfront and close personal experience with leafy spurge.
My name is Eric Bingham, and I teach 7th and 8th grade science at Mount Logan Middle School. This workshop came up called Bugs with Attitude. This was something I was really excited to do. So we went down to the workshop in Salt Lake, and it was several days, and the training, the education we got there about biocontrol, about invasive species. They showed us several different types of invasive species, several different types of biocontrol, and then some projects that we could do. But then they ended off with a challenge to come up with a project that you wanted to do. And so my idea was to do a summer workshop. I wasn't sure we could do an insectary. Maybe, that's something we're looking at now as maybe something we could do. But at the time, that was a little intimidating to me. And I said, I'd like to do something with the kids during the summertime and get them there to do some biocontrol, to do a capture and release.
The following summer, Eric implemented his project with USTAR Summer Academy and APHIS Plant Protection and Quarantine.
Everyone who doesn't have a sweep net, take a tray and get with someone who has a sweep net. Okay. Okay. From the outside, grab the ball at the bottom. From the outside, and then push it inside out and dump it into your tray. Hold the tray down low to the ground. It helps whoever's got the sweep net.
And we found these type of weeds like this.
Okay. So this is
we found those, and we were shaking them. And then that's how we got all the bugs.
So this is a biocontrol for Dalmatian toadflax. It's called Macinus janthinus. Actually, Amber told me they just changed the name to Macinus janthiformes or something like that. But little guys in there. They're the Macinus janthinus, and they're for our Dalmatian toadflax we're going to transport them over back to Cache County and use them there.
There you go. Good job. Can anyone tell me why we aspirate the bugs rather than just sweep them up and take them home?
To only get the right bugs?
More accurate, you only get the bugs you want. There's another really important thing. Everyone look in these trays. Tell me what's in there besides insects? Leaves and what else? Weed seeds. Look at all the weed seeds you guys got.
I'm going to go over here.
So we want to leave those weed seeds here.
Okay, there you go.
We're really excited about what Todd and Mike have been able to do in Montana and some of the other surrounding states in Idaho. They've been able to develop some of these same insectaries, and so we're really hoping that we're going to find the perfect teacher or teachers that will be able to start their own insectary. We'd love to see some leafy spurge or knapweed or Dalmatian toadflax insectaries, so we're going to work really hard to try and get those established.
They don't actually have to go out and create something all by themselves. There's groups out there, there's organizations already put together that are always looking for folks to come help them, that would help them if they wanted to do a project. It's all about partnerships, working together. That's the only way we can control noxious weeds, and that's working together.
In eastern Idaho, a leafy spurge infestation is marching towards Caribou Targhee National Forest and the greater Yellowstone ecosystem.